After this year's Met Gala, we need a moment to reflect and remember fashion's best moments on fashion's biggest night. This is much needed as unfortunately celebrities and designers collaborate to give us nothing. As we know, the Met Gala can look like a circus at times. I mean, the Met Gala is seen to many as a fancy, silly, and obnoxious event for elites. But does it carry importance? The Met Gala isn't just about raising funds. It's a cultural phenomenon that shapes the way we see fashion, beauty, and celebrity. It's a big deal because it sparks conversations about who we are, how we're represented, and the way politics and fame intersect in our society. But it's not all glitz and glamour.
Yeah.
The gala also does some serious good by supporting the Costume Institute's work. That means funding exhibitions, acquiring new pieces, and making sure people get educated about fashion history. Of course, it's not perfect. Some folks rightfully criticize the gala for being too exclusive and flashy, with ticket prices that most of us can only dream about. Still, at its heart, the Met Gala is about celebrating creativity and preserving our fashion heritage. It's what keeps the Costume Institute going strong, with its incredible collection of clothes and accessories spanning centuries of style. The Met Gala raises money for the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Costume Institute, a collection of more than 33,000 pieces of clothing, jewelry, and accessories that documents fashion from the 1400s to now. In 1971, the theme was fashion plate. Back in 1971, the Met Gala made its grand debut at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. They chose fashion plate as their first ever theme, which basically meant celebrating those who dressed with serious style. The 1972 theme was untailored garments. In 1972, the Met Gala embraced a more casual approach with its theme, untailored garments. Attendees sported flowing, abstract attire devoid of structured tailoring. The 1973 theme was the world of Balenciaga. The inaugural Met Gala theme celebrated the legacy of iconic designer Cristobal Balenciaga, offering guests a glimpse into the craftsmanship that solidified his status as a couture virtuoso. In 1974, the theme was romantic and glamorous Hollywood design. The intertwining of Hollywood's influence on fashion spans as far back as the inception of the Hollywood institution itself. In 1974, the Met Gala delved into the historical trajectory of Hollywood design. Of course, the showstopper of this time was the one and only Cher in this exquisite Bob Mackie creation that still stands as a reference for timeless creativity in fashion. It is the source of inspiration for many and stands the test of time. Cher's 1974 Met Gala look is iconic in fashion history. The ensemble was a dazzling display of glamour and extravagance, perfectly encapsulating Cher's bold and daring style. The outfit featured a sheer sequined gown adorned with intricate beading and embroidery, accentuating Cher's figure. The dress was crafted from soufflé, a luxurious French fabric that was actually banned in the US at the time. Mackie ingeniously sprayed the fabric so it clung to Cher's body, creating a sensation. This daring ensemble, often referred to as the naked dress, sparked immense media attention and controversy, especially when Cher flaunted it on the cover of Time magazine.
Yeah.
The provocative cover led to bans in some cities and rapid sellouts in others, igniting a cultural conversation that reverberated far beyond the fashion world. Cher's collaboration with designer Bob Mackie during this era produced some of the most memorable and groundbreaking looks in fashion history, and her 1974 Met Gala ensemble remains a testament to their creative partnership and Cher's fearless approach to fashion. The reason why this still stands a reference and pinnacle of iconic fashion moments till this day is because we crave exactly this. Memorable fashion moments which we don't often see anymore. The shock factor is gone. The shock factor is almost non-existent in society today, although often attempted. When it comes to Cher's iconic look, the one element that is always a hit or miss on the red carpet is the implementation of feathers. Adding feathers to a design is either going to add extravagance or reduce the design down to a DIY craft disaster. It's one of the hardest materials to work with as there are so many factors to consider when choosing the right feather. With Cher, the thinner strands add a lighter, more luxurious sensation to the overall look, whereas attempts of feathering seen on red carpets usually give off the opposite. The tones, sizes, lengths, color, and depth all need to be considered and chosen carefully and tested under different lighting. May seem extreme, but the Met Gala is all about the photos that come out. It's why you're there. It's crucial to take into consideration. But what does attending the Met Gala mean to these designers and celebrities? When celebrities score an invite to the Met Gala from a fashion brand, there's an unwritten agreement. They'll strut down the red carpet decked out in that brand's attire. It's like a subtle marketing move, turning stars into walking billboards for the label. That's why you often see designers arm in arm with famous faces at the event. For designers, getting their outfits showcased at the Met Gala is a game changer. It's a chance to flaunt their creativity and craftsmanship on one of the world's most prestigious red carpets. Dressing a celeb for the gala means major exposure, potentially boosting sales and putting their brand in the fashion spotlight. Plus, with the gala's penchant for pushing boundaries, designers can unleash their most avant-garde designs. But for celebrities, the Met Gala isn't just about posing for the cameras. It's a platform for self-expression. It's their chance to flaunt jaw-dropping fashion statements that might not fly elsewhere. Beyond that, it's a prime networking opportunity, rubbing elbows with fashion's elite and forging connections with top designers and brands. And let's not forget the status boost. A Met Gala regular cements a celeb's place in pop culture and can open doors to new ventures. Ultimately, the Met Gala is a win-win for both designers and celebrities, with each side soaking up the spotlight and prestige that comes with the event. So how to get on the list? Some celebrities at the Met Gala don't have to worry about the bill, especially if they've scored an invitation from a fashion label. In those cases, they're essentially the label's VIP guests, representing them on the red carpet and at their table. These tables can cost a pretty penny, ranging from $200,000 to $300,000, as reported by the Evening Standard. But for those who aren't lucky enough to snag a label invite, attending doesn't come cheap. They might need to fork out around $35,000 for a ticket. And even then, there's no guarantee of a spot unless their name's on the original guest list. The Met Gala is all about exclusivity, with Wintour holding the keys to the guest list. Even if a designer or brand buys a whole table, it's still up to Wintour to decide who gets an invite. The guest list itself is kept under wraps until the big night. Getting an invite is like winning the golden ticket for celebrities, fashion icons, and influencers alike. Each person needs Wintour's personal nod before they can snag a $50,000 ticket or a $300,000 table. With only around 450 spots available, it's one of the most sought-after events of the year. I find myself disappointed by the fashion selections at the Met Gala, though I must commend some celebrities for their evident dedication. It sets a standard that I believe should extend to every major red carpet event. The Met Gala provides a platform for pushing boundaries and exploring the artistry of fashion, and it would be great to see more of this innovative spirit reflected in other high-profile events, instead of mediocre. A great example of someone who is starting to make every red carpet experience exciting is Zendaya, especially in the recent year. This is the dedication I would love to see across the board. In 1975, the theme was American Women of Style. The theme of the 1975 Met Gala honored influential women from modern fashion history. The 1976 theme was the glory of Russian costume. The 1976 Met Gala theme delved into the evolution of Russian costume over the centuries, tracing its development from the 9th century to the present day. 1977. Theme was Vanity Fair, a treasure trove. Under Diana Vreeland's guidance, the Met Gala showcased Vanity Fair's private collection, offering attendees a unique glimpse into Hollywood, society, and fashion. 1978. Diaghilev, costumes and designs of the Ballet Russe. The 1978 Met Gala showcased Russian ballet costumes, highlighting the esteemed tradition of Russian ballet and its renowned dancers like Mikhail Baryshnikov and Olga Smirnova. In 1979, the theme was fashions of the Habsburg era, Austria-Hungary. The 1979 Met Gala theme was a lesson in European history and fashion. The Habsburg era was one of important noble rule for Europe. The Manchu Dragon, costumes of China, the Qing dynasty was the theme for 1980. The Qing dynasty in China signified the final imperial rule in the nation's history, characterized by an era of elaborate and luxurious Chinese fashion. The 1981 theme was the 18th century woman. Looking back to the century prior, the 1981 Met Gala theme delved into 18th century fashion. Despite the theme, guests predominantly opted for traditional evening wear. The star of this night was Bianca Jagger. As mentioned, none of the guests seemed to care for the theme, which is a great letdown as the theme could have produced the most stunning designs honing the craft of the 18th century. Though putting that to the side, Bianca Jagger looked immaculate. The black dress featured a neckline adorned with delicate floral lace, adding a touch of femininity and texture to the look. The fitted bodice accentuated her silhouette, while the full skirt cascaded gracefully, creating a sense of movement and drama. The choice of black fabric lent a classic yet understated quality to the outfit, allowing the intricacies to take center stage. Her hair pinned into vintage Hollywood glamour curls, just complementing the look to perfection. A timeless vision which truly stands the test of time as it makes another appearance on iconic stairs in the 2021 Met Gala. 1982. Theme La Belle Époque. La Belle Époque, spanning from the 1880s until the outbreak of WWI, defined a significant period in French and European history. It was characterized by the elite's struggle to reconcile the harsh realities of modern life. Yves Saint Laurent. 25 years of design was the theme for 1983. Yves Saint Laurent made history as the first living designer to be celebrated with a retrospective at the Met Gala, commemorating his illustrious 25-year career. In 1984, the theme was Man and the Horse. Certainly, equestrians must have relished the 1984 Met Gala theme, which centered on the bond between humans and horses. The 1985 theme was Costumes of Royal India. Celebrating India's vibrant cultural and artistic legacy, the 1985 Met Gala centered its theme on the attire of India's royal lineage over the ages. The exhibit dazzled with a myriad of vibrant patterns and exquisite garments. Once again, Cher stole the spotlight. She flawlessly embodied the theme with her intricately designed gown, all without resorting to stereotypical Western interpretations of Indian attire. Another iconic collaboration between Bob Mackie and his muse. The top half was embellished in black and gold lace on a long-sleeve high turtleneck see-through elongated asymmetrical bodice. The craftsmanship of the dress is peak fashion, perfectly executing the theme and respecting elements of Indian fashion. The skirt implements draping and a twist of fabric at the hip before falling into a straight fit. Even down to the jewelry and makeup is perfection. Moments like these show how it's supposed to be done. Cher never disappoints and the girls need to stay on watch. 1986 was dance. The art form of dance was celebrated at the 1986 Met Gala. The exhibit focused on movement-friendly fashion, and guests were instructed to follow a dance theme, even though they didn't. Moving on. 1987 was In Style, celebrating 50 years of the Costume Institute. In 1987, the Met Gala theme honored the Costume Institute, the beneficiary of the gala itself within the Metropolitan Museum of Art. This offered guests a vast array of fashion options, given the Institute's extensive scope and influence. In 1988, the theme was From Queen to Empress, Victorian dress, 1837-1877. The undeniable impact of historical royal figures on fashion was evident at the 1988 Met Gala, where the theme honored Victorian attire and royalty from the period spanning 1837 to 1877. The 1989 theme was The Age of Napoleon, costume from Revolution to Empire, 1789-1815. Napoleon Bonaparte, a prominent figure of the French Revolution, also presided over an acclaimed era in fashion during his reign as emperor. The 1990 theme was Théâtre de la Mode, fashion dolls, the survival of Haute Couture. The 1990 Met Gala exhibition held particular significance as it showcased mannequins crafted by French fashion designers in the post-WP era. Following WPQs, French couturiers played a pivotal role in revitalizing the fashion industry. Again, hard to say anyone followed the theme, but at least we have these glimpses of Iman and Naomi at the gala. 1992 was Fashion and History, a dialogue. The fashion and history theme of 1992's Met Gala was expansive, centering on the evolution of fashion across different historical periods. It drove home the idea that fashion is a reflection of its current time. This theme, though quite bored, gave us this divine look from Christy Turlington channeling Audrey Hepburn, circa Breakfast Tiffany's. This ensemble was the definition of class and elegance to the T. 1993 was Diana Vreeland, immoderate style. Diana Vreeland, the esteemed fashion editor, acted as the special consultant for the Costume Institute from 1972 to 1989. Following her passing, Vreeland was commemorated with a Met Gala exhibition celebrating her influential style. In 1994, the theme was Orientalism, vision of the East in Western dress. The 1994 Met Gala theme seamlessly blended East Asian cultural fashion with Western style. And 1995 was Haute Couture. The 1995 theme for the Met Gala was straightforward, simply labeled as Haute Couture. Another board theme, but allows for the imagination to run wild with ideas without limitations. This night is truly for designers to showcase their best designs. Although this was very much tamed in comparison to what we experience with the gala in current years, the 1995 gala is where we got some memorable 90s moments. The first being Miss Naomi Campbell in Versace. The glistening effect of this dress is so exquisite that they didn't need to go beyond with the silhouette. In fact, it was just a simple fitted structured dress with a zip, trailing from top to bottom and nude paneling on the sides for added depth.
Wow, I loved this dress. It's slim fitting and body hugging and it just glistened. I remember when I saw this dress for the first time, I thought, wow, Johnny, is that for me? It seemed like one of those dresses that you read in those fairy tales.
Naomi definitely stood out the entire night. Being a Versace muse, Naomi came with both Gianni and Donatella, who looked beautiful this night as well and worth bringing up. Donatella wore a sheer embellished gown with a black bodysuit, which was so ahead of its time as you are seeing hundreds of variations of this dress now everywhere. This style can very easily cross over to tacky, but I think Donatella crafted this maintaining luxury and is one of her best looks. Another iconic 90s moment is Elizabeth Hurley in a simple yet stunning draped dress with a high split. This dusty pink custom Versace look is such a classic timeless piece that fit her like a glove. Simpler designs become grand when proper craftsmanship is implemented. The only fault from Elizabeth's look would be to have not worn the white fur coat and had gone with a pointed shoe instead. If I'm being extra picky, I would have preferred her hair in some sort of a soft finger wave vintage hairstyle. But I guess this was the time of the unrefined, effortless hair look. Lace took center stage in the most exquisite form this year, but oddly never mentioned. Lynn Wyatt was definitely a standout for me. Everything from the hair to the jewelry and accessories was perfect. She looked straight out of an old Hollywood movie. Although this look is not popularized, I truly believe this ensemble deserves the shine. The form-fitting long-sleeve sheer dress is adorned in exquisite dainty floral lace that is layered with more lace paneling across the form in an accordion style out from her waist. The hem of the sleeves are finished off in scalloped lace. On the opposing side of dramatic fabrications, softer plain fabrication was on show as well. One look that never leaves fashion's gaze is Kate Moss's low-back dress from this theme. Although I find it to be nothing special, it is still a refined classic look, and the choice of a soft pastel yellow complemented Kate very well, and still stands the test of time with ever-evolving fashion trends. Though I think it did not shine in comparison to Nina Griscom's gown. This asymmetrical white stunner focuses on playing around with crafting different shapes and forms with the body whilst maintaining a simplistic undertone, though exudes elegance. This is another look that unfortunately no one is familiar with, but I think deserves recognition, as every aspect from this ensemble is perfectly executed from the hair to the bold lip and choice of earring. If simple was the goal, this is how you do it. In between the shots captured of mingling socialites stands the one and only Anna Wintour. This defiantly is one of Anna's best looks I've seen her in. This look exudes such class and sophistication with her all-white satin halter, neck dress with an empire waistline and matching gloves, with touches of glam with the choice of accessories and embellished point hells that peeked through. The form and fit of the gown and Anna's iconic bob is one for the books. What is Anna Wintour's role in the Met Gala? Anna Wintour, the powerhouse editor-in-chief of Vogue magazine, has played a pivotal role in shaping the Met Gala into the fashion extravaganza it is today. For over 2 decades, she's been the mastermind behind this iconic event, from selecting themes and curating exhibitions to handpicking guests and arranging seating. Her unwavering commitment to excellence and her passion for fashion have made the Met Gala one of the most eagerly anticipated events of the year. In 1996, the theme was Christian Dior. The 1996 Met Gala paid tribute to the late Christian Dior, with the notable presence of fashion icon Princess Diana. She graced the Metropolitan Museum of Art carrying the Lady Dior bag, named after her title as Lady Diana Spencer, prior to her marriage to Prince Charles. Unfortunately, this was another theme where attendees could have gone beyond in tribute for Christian Dior, but left us unsatisfied. Though if I have to remember anything from this year, I would have to acknowledge Iman's take on the little black dress. The iconic little black dress endured the Great Depression and found its place in Hollywood. Other designers, inspired by Chanel, embraced new fabrics to craft similar garments. Christian Dior notably redefined the dress post-war, infusing it with a sense of power and allure. His new look transformed the little black dress into a symbol of female empowerment and sensuality, accentuating women's curves with its sleek silhouette. What I love is how this Christian Lacroix gown elevated the little black dress into a concept perfect for Iman's bold spurt, which goes hand in hand with the sentiment of the dress's significance. Every woman has her own version of the little black dress.
There's a very famous video out that some journalist asked me, well, what brings you out here tonight? And I said, this dress. When you have that dress, you gotta go out. The hair was done by a friend of mine who's a hairdresser, Oscar James, and he thought it was like a very ingenue with the short bangs. But it's lovely. It's very lovely. I couldn't breathe, but who cares?
Many variations of the little black dress were on display on the red carpet, including another statement piece from Donatella Versace. Her own twist was grand and edgy, staying true to Versace's aesthetic whilst paying tribute. This is another iconic look from Donatella. The 1997 theme was Gianni Versace. The 1997 Met Gala held a bittersweet tone as it commemorated Gianni Versace, who tragically lost his life earlier that year. Despite the mourning for the fashion icon, celebrities gathered to honor his legacy. The standout of the evening was Carolyn Murphy, draped in gold Versace chainmail. The tones, depth, and fall of the fabrication leads to this dipped in luxurious gold effect. The silhouette itself attests to as you have the fabric pouring in from the strap into a drape across the bodice before falling like water with a daring side split. This is truly a timeless piece which often shows up again in the fashion world and never disappoints. Such as the iconic Supermodel tribute to Gianni Versace on the runway. You see the similar take on the dipped-in gold chainmail silhouette, with the focus on draping and emphasizing the sensuality of a woman's figure. We received another great moment with Salma Hayek's attendance. Again, the product of Versace's clothing is the focus and accentuating a woman's figure, which this gown truly did. The element of 3D implementation tied with asymmetry is such a perfect fusion of modern edginess and timeless elegance.
So this is 1997. This black Versace dress, I love, and I have very interesting memories about it because Gianni gave it to me, and I think it's a beautiful dress, and it fit me so well like a glove. I only got to wear it at the Met when we were doing homage to Gianni, who was also very generous to me. He was one of the first ones that invited me to his parties, and I think even a fashion show in New York, and I was just getting to know him when unfortunately he so tragically died, but I'm also very grateful that he supported me at the beginning of my career.
The fusion shows up again as Olats Lopez wears a similar gown to Salma Hayek's, but also with Alexandra von Furstenberg look. The edginess definitely is from her hairstyle, which I love the contrast that was played with in juxtaposition with the elegance of her gown. I bring this up as one that could have been up there with Carolyn Murphy's gown if it was also draped in the gold metallic chainmail, as the draping and silhouette of the gown itself is already stunning and very much plays into the Versace aesthetic. We can't move on without acknowledging another Iman look. I love the regalness that she brings forth to every look she is in. And I'm not just saying that because she accessorized herself in a tiara. The crisp white against the shine of jewels embellished in the asymmetrical design brings forth so much nuance and depth to the creation that makes you stop and stare.
This is 1997 of the Met tribute to Gianni Versace. And what I love about this picture, I'm not wearing Versace. I'm wearing actually Gianfranco Ferré, who was a very dear friend of mine, and he was going. Obviously, lots of people wanted to wear Versace and all that. And I said I would wear if he did something in tribute to a Versace design. So this was what he came up with. And this is Donatella admiring the dress. She said, yeah, he really did a good job paying a tribute to Versace. Really, she looks great in here. But she always does.
I also came across this image of Debbie Mazar and fell in love with the entire look, head to toe. But her hair, it really ties everything together and brings forth a sense of magic. This is why I truly believe that fashion is not just the clothing, but the entirety of the look. Fashion transcends mere garments. It's the culmination of style, attitude, and expression. It's about crafting a complete aesthetic that reflects personality, culture, and individuality. From the choice of clothing to the accessories, hair, and makeup, every element contributes to the narrative of one's style journey. Fashion is a language, and like any language, it's not just about the words, but also about the tone, gestures, and context. It's a form of self-expression that goes beyond the surface, speaking volumes about who we are and what we stand for. 1998 was Cubism and fashion. The 1998 Met Gala showcased the influence of the Cubist art movement on fashion. It was so bad that we are not even going to acknowledge the entire year. Moving on! 1999 was rock style. In 1999, the Met Gala paid tribute to the influence of rock on fashion with a retrospective showcasing its iconic style. There are endless possibilities when it comes to this genre of fashion yet. This was another challenging year, as majority did not come dressed accordingly, or even fashion-worthy. I guess the attendees didn't understand the theme, and the ones that did, really didn't. The one look worth remembering would be Amber Valletta in Versace. This metallic textured jumpsuit with a plunging neckline is such an eye-catcher and complements her really well. You wouldn't consider her for a rock girl, but this playfulness with the jumpsuit gives enough edginess without overpowering her. This year we also first witness the infamous Versace green dress, which was later seen on Jennifer Lopez, but worth mentioning that Donatella did it first and looked great. In 2001, the theme was Jacqueline Kennedy, the White House years. Jacqueline Kennedy, among the most influential modern first ladies, garnered high acclaim for her impeccable sense of style. The 2001 Met Gala delved into the former first lady's fashion ethos, examining how her distinctive style defined her tenure in the White House. This has to be one of the most confusing red carpet events, if I say so myself. I had to reread the theme a couple times to make sure things were adding up, as they just weren't. Yet again, no one followed the theme, and we are left confused as to why this year even happened. Though if I have to pick the standouts, I think Lee Radzil looked rather chic and made the most sense. Stephanie Seymour also looked really pretty in her multi-layered opaque black floor-length gown, which reminds me of Rihanna's red Grammy dress. But honestly, nothing to really worth remember from this year. The 2003 theme was Goddess, the classical mode. Given the goddess theme, it was anticipated that most attendees would arrive dressed as Greek gods and goddesses. But clearly didn't. Another shocking year. But at least we saw Cameron Cass and Tom Ford for Gucci. I wouldn't say it fit the theme, but was still a stunner. Probably the most effortless goddess look award will go to Eve this year. This dress, as simple it is just so whimsical, yet hugs the bodice perfectly. Both these gowns I would consider to be ahead of its time in the fashion world. In 2004, the theme was Dangerous Liaisons, fashion and furniture in the 18th century. The 2004 Met Gala delved not only into the art of attire, but also into furniture design and the broader decorative arts between 1750 and 1789. The only attendee we need to remember from this year is model Amber Valletta, wearing a Maggie Norris couture corset and John Galliano skirt, and had elegantly donned a powdered periwig, evoking the opulence of Marie Antoinette and the iconic style of the original Dangerous Liaisons film. Not a single fault seen with this ensemble, even down to the heels, is in such detail that truly sets the bar high, and does for years to come. Amber Valletta's daring embrace of the theme marks a watershed moment for the Met Gala, infusing it with a theatricality and vivacity that have since become synonymous with the event. Her commitment to immersing herself in the theme, eschewing conventional red carpet attire, sets a new standard for creativity and innovation. In this transformative moment, Valletta emerges as a pioneer, heralding a new era for the Met Gala and cementing its reputation as a playground for daring fashion experimentation. This moment deserves more credit.
Queen Antoinette. Anna asked me to come to the Met, and she said, come up to the offices and we'll dress you. The part that's really important about this whole thing is she said, I really want you to go for it. And at the time, people were dressing to theme a bit, but it really wasn't like people really went for it. And I remember fashion people were kind of like, oh, you really went for it, or you look sort of like George Washington's wife. Just like kind of teasing me a little bit. And I was a little embarrassed that night, but I was like, screw it. I'm just gonna go for it and enjoy myself. I'm not saying that I influenced people to like go for it, but people did start going for it after that. This was one of the first moments of a big dress up for the Met.
2005 was the House of Chanel. The 2005 Met Gala, which celebrated the House of Chanel, set the stage for this year's theme. It honored the iconic label founded by Coco Chanel and continued under Lagerfeld's creative direction. We are going to unfortunately skip this year for obvious reasons. 2006 was Anglomania, tradition and transgression in British fashion. Anglomania zeroes in on British fashion spanning from 1976 to 2006, a remarkable era marked by boundless creativity and bold experimentation. Throughout the last 3 decades, British fashion has been characterized by a deliberate and self-aware embrace of history. Designers, driven by a quest for originality, have eagerly delved into past aesthetics with both daring and veracity. By spotlighting their postmodern, historicizing inclinations, this Met Gala showcases a collection of vignettes inspired by Britain's diverse artistic heritage. With so much knowledge and inspiration to draw from, this year was another letdown, though we must give credit to some attendees for putting in effort to live up to the theme. That being Charlize Theron wearing Dior by the iconic British designer John Galliano. But honestly, really nothing to rave about this year. We should also mention that this is the first red carpet rolled out for the Met Gala. We've made the transition over, and we'd only hope the fashion improves by a mile. So let's continue the years. The 2007 theme was Poiret, King of Fashion, paid tribute to the enduring influence of iconic fashion designer Paul Poiret. Dress history credits Poiret with freeing women from corsets and with inventing such startling creation. Poiret pioneered a radical approach to dressmaking that relied on the skills of draping rather than tailoring and pattern making. Many yet again failed, but at least this year brought us Jessica Stam wearing Christian Dior Spring-Summer 1998. This breathtaking masterpiece exemplifies Paul Poiret's iconic style of fluid, free-flowing dresses, enriched with captivating influences from the Middle East. Intricate embroidery graces every inch of the gown, while delicate fringe accents adorn the sleeve hems, reminiscent of the ornate beauty found in Persian rugs. The gracefully low back, adorned with jewel attachments cascading down, serves as the flawless finishing touch to this impeccable gown. This gown, much like Poiret's creations, narrates a compelling story through its design and craftsmanship. 2008 was Superheroes, Fashion and Fantasy. Fashion, like superheroes, celebrates change, giving us endless chances to transform and reinvent ourselves. It opens the door to a world of bold expressions and limitless creativity. Both fashion and superheroes allow us to dream, offering an escape from the mundane and ordinary. Before we skip another horrendous year of fashion letdowns, I wanted to acknowledge how beautiful Janet Jackson. I'm talking about from neck up, as the dress needed a lot more improvement with the fitting. Naomi Watts was the only attendee that showed up in the theme's aesthetic, though still a miss in my books. In 2009, the theme was the model as muse, embodying fashion. At the 2009 Met Gala, models took center stage in a theme entirely dedicated to them. This open-ended theme allowed for a diverse range of sartorial interpretations, spanning from minimalism to maximalism. It was about exploring the reciprocal relationship between high fashion and evolving ideals of beauty. This was a great theme with so much potential. But honestly, I'm struggling to see anything appealing about the fashion worn this night. I can't say much other than show you the disaster that took place. If I had forced myself to pick, I would say Donatella looked the best this night. I like the elegance and pose of Iman's gown. Kate Moss looked great from neck up. Giselle B looked hot, and I appreciate Shalom's play with fashion, though still not give the wow factor, though I did appreciate the jumpsuit underneath for the reveal.
Ooh, this is the Met Ball. I loved getting ready for this. Traditionally, the Met, you're invited to it by a design house, and one year a group of us women decided that we were going to buy our own table so that we could dress ourselves the way we wanted to. I found this gorgeous old Bob Mackie vintage cape, slinked myself into a little Nina Ricci bodysuit, and draped myself in some fabulous diamonds, and off I went. There's a particular thing about presenting the look that a designer has and their particular aesthetic, and then there's another thing of like how you want to show yourself. And this year it was Model as Muse. It's felt particularly important that year to be authentically representing how we wanted to portray ourselves. In terms of Model as Muse and like what our particular role is as contributors, I don't know that it's something that can really be articulated because it is so ephemeral, but there's definitely a talent and a craft to it. And just being able to point an iPhone and take a selfie doesn't make you a supermodel. Sorry, not sorry.
This is from the Met 2009 Model as Muse. This was a really cool Met because it was all about the models. And we got to wear whatever we wanted. We all got ready together, which I think about it now, and I'm just so grateful we got to do that. I picked this Galanos dress, who was a famous American designer from the 50s and 60s, and I just thought his stuff was so beautiful. Model as Muse is our part of the creative process in whether it's photography or a runway show, even just something like this, like the Met. It's our part in creating a fashion moment, and we're often the muses. A really cool moment that connected the Model as Muse was in Vogue for the May issue of that year. We did a photograph of all of us muses around one of our greatest collaborators, Steve and myself.
The 2010 theme was American Woman, fashioning a national identity. As America entered a new decade, cultural dynamics and perspectives underwent a significant shift. Reflecting this change, the 2010 Met Gala centered its theme around American women crafting a national identity through fashion. Despite its intended significance in highlighting women, there is honestly no compliments I could give other than Lily Collins looks great with orange hair. Moving on, in 2011, Alexander McQueen. Savage Beauty was the theme. 1 year following the death of Lee Alexander McQueen, the Met Gala paid tribute to the designer's legacy with a retrospective showcasing his work. Alexander McQueen revolutionized fashion with his daring creativity and visionary designs. His work goes beyond clothing, transforming runways into immersive experiences that challenge norms and provoke emotions. With impeccable craftsmanship and a fearless exploration of themes, McQueen's legacy still lives on and inspired. I only hope that if this theme was set for this year that the attendees will do it justice, as the only two in 2011 that did was Daphne Guinness and Christina Ricci. This is how you show up for McQueen. Daphne Guinness was the star of the night wearing the feathered ensemble from Sarah Burton's second solo collection for Alexander McQueen. This encapsulates the drama and revolutionary spark of McQueen in one gown. The silhouette is hard to miss, with its exaggerated proportions. As discussed earlier, the choice of feathers is crucial as it can make or break the idea of the design. And this gown nails it as combing two different structures and tones of feathers, creating a dynamic between the bodice and skirt, without fighting or overpowering each other. It's always very worth mentioning the hairstyle and accessories chosen for this look is also perfect. The juxtaposition between elegance and almost gruesome edginess is the perfect combo. Who would have thought? On to Mrs. Christina Ricci. She wore a sheer black gown by designer Zac Posen. I mean, the drama of it all. It's so gothic, it's so chic. The perfect tribute to McQueen. It looks like Spider earning its wings, weaving its web around the form, choosing its partner in crime. Ricci's gown not only nodded to McQueen's gothic inclinations, but also danced with the actress's own slightly eccentric persona. Ricci is a rare sighting on the silver screen, but when she does grace us with her presence, it's often in dark comedies. The 2012 was themed Schiaparelli and Prada, Impossible Conversations. In the 2012 gala, the Met opted to contrast the late Elsa Schiaparelli with the living legend Miuccia Prada. But we are going to skip yet another year, as no one wore anything worth mentioning until I saw Anna Wintour without her shawl. Why she had it on I have no idea, cause once off it was absolutely stunning. I admire when a simple silhouette is turned into art through chosen elements. It creates a whole new story. This Prada ensemble I felt was the perfect balance between the two design brands, implementing the quirky flair of Schiaparelli and the timeless structure of Prada. Her choice of necklace, I feel perfectly ties everything together, as its emphasis is on the different hues of gold through the lobster embellished on the gown itself. The 2013 theme was punk, chaos to couture. 2013 offered a comprehensive punk-themed exhibition, showcasing punk's impact on high fashion for both men and women. And yet both men and women disappointed us this year. Honestly, I got no idea why anyone showed up if they planned to not follow the theme. Miley is one of the only ones that came in the literal theme, but still disappointed. Call me mean, but I just expect a lot more on fashion's so-called greatest night. This isn't a restyle video, but I just want to throw in some inspo of what the attendees could have drawn inspiration from. (2014) was Charles James, Beyond Fashion. Born in 1906 and passing away in 1978, Charles James emerged as one of the most influential fashion designers of his era. Renowned for his exquisite ball gowns and innovative approach to tailoring, he became the focal point of the 2014 Met Gala. We have a few references to Charles James, though the only truly iconic moment we had this year was the elevator incident. Though we did also get to see Karolina Kurkova in Marchesa, which I think was the best dressed in terms of successfully aligning with the theme of the night. We have her ticking off Charles James references such as the ball gown, innovative tailoring with the structural component of the skirt and the strapless bodice. Unfortunately, I'm not a huge fan of the floral pattern, and I do wish the bodice didn't have the asymmetrical element, but nonetheless, this gown was worth shining light on. Another ball gown moment is Liu Wen in Zac Posen that has great referencing to Charles James's craft. My favorite element of a ball gown dress is the emphasis on the waist. I truly believe in order to nail a ball gown dress, you need to cinch in that waist and then have the skirt explode in regalness. The 2015 theme was China, Through the Looking Glass. The 2015 Met Gala honored China's profound influence on Western fashion, a trend observed on catwalks for years. This must be the first impressive year the Met Gala has had, as we finally see a display of effort and play with fashion, immersing themselves with the theme concept and giving more theatrical play to fashion. The most special moment of this night being Rihanna. You cannot mention the Met Gala without remembering one of the most memorable moments in Met Gala history, as Rihanna ascended the stairs in a breathtaking gold robe by Guo Pei.
It's handmade by one Chinese woman. It took 2 years to make.
My big break came with the Rihanna dress in 2010. It took over 30 months and tens of thousands of working hours to make. The dress was actually already made when Rihanna saw it online and asked for it. Frankly speaking, I didn't know who she was at that time. But the dress worked because of Rihanna's strength and beauty and her ability to carry it off.
It's not enough. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh, this moment, this fantasy. Dreaming. How did this happen? It's so beautiful.
There is not a fault to be seen. This is art. Thee is a masterpiece. This is fashion. And this is what we ask for every Met Gala. Fashion is a performance, especially on the grandest stage. The story itself of the craftsmanship process of this gown is special, and love that this moment truly pours admiration for Chinese designers and their cultural influence on the West. What I love is the attention to detail, not just with the gown itself, obviously, but with the choice of hair, makeup, and accessories that truly brings the look together and encompasses Chinese influence and aesthetics. There are so many focal points to this look without being overwhelming. Inside the Met, Rihanna performed in another statement piece representing the theme in all its glory. The fabrications, colors, and embroidery components are derived from traditional Chinese clothing, with a modern fusion through the structural craftsmanship. The double-breasted red and gold bustier paired with the different textures and colors of her turquoise blue headpieces is insanely stunning. Her play with colors was perfect. 10s across the board. The following look that I will give second best receipt to is Kim Kardashian. This gown is still by far the best Met Gala look of hers till date. Wearing Roberto Cavalli that was inspired by the one and only Cher. The dress was a custom-made, nude, silk tulle creation, embroidered with crystals, sequins, and bugle beads, and finished with a train of ivory ostrich feathers. We are going to talk about feather yet again. Sorry, not sorry. Because this was so closely inspired by Cher's iconic sheer gown, the feathers matched the reference, therefore was the perfect choice. Did this gown align with the theme, though? I will say I love the concept of the sheer with the embroidery on top, as it almost gives a frosted glass look, as if it's through the looking glass. And the embroidery itself does resemble the artwork embellished on traditional Chinese clothing, though I would have loved it to be more of a focus and talking point when it comes to this look. Other than that, I loved it. Another sheer gown was on display, and that was from Beyoncé herself. However iconic this look was for Beyoncé, and she did look stunning, it just wasn't my favorite from the night and really didn't bother with the theme. It's shame. J-Lo was also there wearing a similar vibe. She looked beautiful, though again, nothing truly worth remembering. Though an ensemble worth remembering is from M's Lady Gaga, wearing Balenciaga. Lady Gaga donned a sleek black silk jumpsuit adorned with sequins, paired with an elegant black silk duchesse satin cape, embellished with sequins. Completing the ensemble was a stunning sequined headdress and theatrical Chinese-inspired makeup. What I admire most about this look is the effort poured in with crafting pieces that aligned with the theme, and being experimental with it as well. That's defiantly what I appreciated the most from this year, as it's for sure the first time we have seen this on the carpet. I love seeing the play with different textures, colors, embroidery, and accessories. With that being said, let's take a moment and admire these headpieces. The 2016 theme was the Manus Ex Machina, fashion in an age of technology. In 2016, the Met Gala embraced the fusion of fashion and technology, highlighting their growing significance in daily life. With the previous year being of major influence in raising the bar to what is now expected at the Met Gala, all eyes were glued excited to see the fashion hit the red carpet. And Danes Zac Posen did not disappoint. This us hands one of the best Met Gala gowns that has graced the red carpet. This being the case 2 years in a row makes me super happy. Now, let's delve deep into this revolutionary Cinderella-inspired gown that truly is the epitome of fashion and tech. The gown itself is constructed to perfection. It is a true fairy tale magical dress come to life. And this isn't even the best part. The silhouette focuses on grandness and symmetry, the bodice hugging onto the figure, arched at the waist, and an explosion of fabric with pleats creating the skirt. There is an iridescent glow and sheen when the dress is in daylight, but once the lights are out, the magic unfolds in the most extraordinary of ways. The fibers that construct the gown burst into light and creates a glow around the entirety on the gown. This is a true work of art, and deserves so much praise and recognition for its innovative concept.
The yarns are connected, to a box about that big. It's teeny, and that's the charge of it.
Somebody actually has to climb under the dress to manually turn on the 30 separate light panels. Once they're all on, check out the electrifying look.
Woven fiber. Here, I have a sample.
You have a sample?
I have a sample. So, I go in on the weekends and I drape, which means I take fabric and I put it on a mannequin. I start to build the dress with my hands, very old school. But then I needed it to, you can play with this. I wanted it to electrify. You can see that you can see the ends. So what you're looking at is light on the surface traveling. And we developed the fabric, and we had to wait a week before the Met Gala for the fabric to come in.
Okay.
And I wanted something, that used technology. That was the theme.
The theme of the night was technology.
And no one else truly stood out to me this year compared to Claire Danes' gown. Though I do have to say Kylie Jenner did look impeccable in this Balmain sequined metallic creation. We saw a lot of metallicas this year as well as embellishments with a celestial aesthetic. But nothing tops that Cinderella dress. In 2017, the theme was Rei Kawakubo, Comme des Garçons, Art of the In-Between. Rei Kawakubo is a Japanese fashion designer based in Tokyo and Paris, and is the designer behind Comme des Garçons. She joined the exclusive ranks of living designers honored with a retrospective at the Met Gala. She, known for her avant-garde designs and ability to challenge conventional notions of beauty, good taste, and fashionability, which is what we expect to see on the carpet. This year we had guests attempt just that, an extra bit, or at least more than usual. And I appreciated seeing that. We had some nice moments such as Kylie Jenner in Versace, Helen Lassachon-Williams in Comme des Garçons, Tracee Ellis Ross in Comme des Garçons, and Christian Louboutin shoes, Kendall Jenner in La Perla, and Christian Louboutin shoes, and Gigi Hadid in Tommy Hilfiger and Christian Louboutin shoes. Though did anyone other than Rihanna give me the wow factor? No. So we just gonna talk about Riri.
Let's see if I can reach it.
Yeah, you can reach me. Of course you can. It smells so good.
Thank you.
Is this Ray?
This is
How did you get into it? Does it have a diagram?
It's actually really easy. It's like booty shorts and
these
you buckle some snaps.
Avant-garde in your world, music and style.
I love art. And I think it's such a free range of expression, and you can do whatever you want within that space. It just gives you that freedom, that space to be whatever you want, however you want, and wear whatever you want, sing whatever you want.
This is so great, because this is what it is now. Wow. You did amazing.
Thank
did
you
a
so
beautiful
much.
job.
Thank you. So good to see you.
Now this is avant-garde. There are just so many focal points to the design without it being overwhelming at all. And the attention to the finer details is perfection. An abstract punk take on a flower is how I can describe this. The floral layering of multi-dimensional patterns crafting three-dimensional petals and textures as well as the colors paired together is the perfect balance of feminine softness and punk edginess. 2018 was Heavenly Bodies, fashion and the Catholic imagination. Now this year should have never happened. The theme itself felt like it was mocking the Catholic faith and religion shouldn't be turned into a costume fest. So we are going to skip. 2019 was Camp Notes on Fashion. When the museum unveiled the camp theme for the 2019 Met Gala, it clarified that it had no connection to outdoor camping activities. Instead, the theme celebrated camp as an aesthetic style, characterized by its flamboyant taste or ironic appeal. We expected a fashionable performance, and that we received. Girls served, and I was honestly impressed that it wasn't hard for me to find more than one favorite of the night. We got to give it to them this year as this is the first serving we got. We have to start with the campiest of all, Lady Gaga, in Brandon Maxwell. This theatrical performance will stand the test of time of Met Gala history. She understood the theme to its core. The evolution of this performance had her stripping down to a bra and panties, which is the campiest throwback to Gaga's earlier days. The transition and unveiling of outfits was the camp aspect. The outfits itself wasn't over the top, though the makeup was, and it was everything.
Camp is a way of seeing the world as an aesthetic phenomenon. One that rests on innocence. And that innocence, which is revealed by the person, thing, performance, or otherwise, arrives in extravagance. However, this is to say that extravagance is not the point. Camp is serious in its attitude, and in its irony, it is ultimately anti-serious. It's not all about just being as over the top as possible, because that's not the point. If it is over the top, and we are extravagant, then that's what it is. But it's not the point to try to be as extravagant as possible.
On to another favorite, that being Cardi B, Tom Brown. Cardi said it best. She doesn't want to look costumey. A lot of people can look cheesy when it comes to camp, and I couldn't agree more. Cardi's look was over the top. exaggeration of the female form done in the most exquisite way. The depth of texture, fabrications, and tones of red really establishes this as camp without being cheesy. I love it, and we have to give props to Cardi for really going for it, especially considering this was her second Met Gala. Some may disagree, but with the way Cardi has been serving, I believe she will be considered a fashion icon in the next 5-10 years. Now on to an underrated look, Deepika and Zac Posen. Of course, Zac will show out in most impeccable ways. Her gave us Barbie. A true work of art. The form, structure, symmetry is so on point and so beautiful that it really upsets me that the makeup wasn't executed to the best. Other than that, defiantly another amazing Zac Posen look. Although we are so used to seeing this next girl practically in nothing at every red carpet, we have to give to her for this Met Gala look. Emily looked immaculate, and so ethereal is this sarong-type gown. But what truly made this entire look is the headpiece. I can't fault a single thing from this look. I even love how they styled her hair. We can't continue without talking about Kim Kardashian in Thierry Mugler, the concept being the wet look and the result. This latex corseted dress clinging to the bodice and beaded crystals hung off her as if they were drops of water is worth pulling Thierry Mugler out of his retirement. It is said this dress took 8 months to make, which just goes to show the level of couture artistry. The only notes I will make is I wish the hair wasn't so tamed and more effortless straight of the water look, and to have had it shorter so that I wasn't touching the dress. And if I'm being really picky, I would have preferred the waist bow to have been more of a twist or a knot. On to my favorite look of this year, being Mrs. Kendall Jenner. Yes, this shocked me too, but you can't say she didn't slay. Her showgirl-inspired look is done so classy while still maintaining the boldness. Just like Cardis, this is a monochrome look focusing on establishing texture and depth of orange through fabrications, embellishments, and materials. Also, circling back to the topic of feathers, this is another look that executes it perfectly so that it doesn't look like a cheap DIY. And the choice of having the short, lighter feathers outline her bodice, then explode into the large, stiffer feather, then hold the shape around her bodice, is perfection. These small details is what I admire, as though it may go unnoticed, it truly doesn't enhance the whole look. Also props to hair and makeup cause they nailed it. So far, the best Met year. The 2021 theme was In America, a lexicon of fashion. Marking the return of the Met Gala post-COVID-19, the Costume Institute honored its homeland with In America. This theme celebrated a diverse array of American designers throughout history and delved into the concept of American identity, emphasizing both our individuality and interconnectedness. It honestly would have been better if no one showed up. Other than Kendall Jenner, Debbie Harry, and Iman, of course. These ladies looked incredible. We will start with Kendall Jenner. Yes, Kendall Jenner again for another year. Are we really shocked at this point, or is she starting to really understand fashion and start serving looks that are worth remembering? These last two looks are defiantly going down in Met Gala history. Kendall Jenner was wearing Givenchy and took inspiration out of an iconic American film, My Fair Lady, of which the one and only Audrey Hepburn was in. The glittery train with hand-embroidered crystals, and she wore a thick diamond choker necklace, evoking the emboldened jewelry trends of the 60s and 70s. Considering Audrey was a muse of Hubert de Givenchy, this was the perfect match. I do absolutely adore this look and still very much consider it to be one of the best from this night. Though if I'm being completely honest here, this type of fashion is what I would like to be seeing on other red carpets, and I want the Met to be more extravagant and out there, as this is really the only time in the fashion year where you can truly be as creative as possible. But with what we got, I'm still pleased. Now the queen herself, Iman dressed in Harris Reed. This was a true work of art and photographed so beautifully. This is a crucial aspect to red carpets, but specifically the Met Gala, as it is all about the photos. It's so important to take how a garment will photograph. What type of fabrications, materials, and tones of colors will work with the light rather than against it. And this look does just that and looks remarkable. Don't get sick of me saying this, but again, these feathers are top tier, and the gold leaf on top is what truly brings this look together. There is just so much depth. That element included, although may seem a small fraction of what the look entails, it has made a significant impact. And gold is Iman's color. Not only did Debbie Harry and Zac Posen nail the theme, but did it in such an iconic way. The distressed structured denim with the over-the-top caged skirt with ribbons of tulle in the American red and white colors. It's such an innovative concept with such character. Zac Posen deserves a lot more recognition for having multiple best looks at the Met Gala. I also love the edginess paired with a take on effortless old Hollywood hair. 2022 was in America, an anthology of fashion. Let's start off with saying, who told Kim to do this? Kim, who told you to do this? I think Kim could have played into the Marilyn Monroe concept but could have looked much more elegant. But somehow, she purposely volunteered to look like a knockoff. And to be honest, the gown ended up looking cheap, like something off of Pretty Little Thing. I can't give a single compliment. And I know everyone in the comments will mention Blake Lively from this year. But I'm sorry. I just wasn't a fan of the gown though. I will admit I appreciated the reference and creativity behind it. Now, I don't care what anyone had to say about this next look, but Gigi Hadid looked incredible. I am flawed by how stunning this coat is. It is perfection. Monochrome red always seems to create magic. This quilted, embossed-looking coat with extravagant proportions, and the latex jumpsuit with a satin corset just creates the most exquisite depths of tones. I love the edginess of it all and its take on the glided era being of exaggerated proportions. Though with that being said, I still don't feel like it was the best interpretation of the theme. But at this point, I am left no choice but to judge based on the wow factor. That leads me on to Natasha Poonawalla, bringing a touch of Indian excellence by wearing this stunning gold-embroidered sari, and Schiaparelli Architectural Bustier Ensemble is one of the most stunning looks I've seen on the carpet. Gold was definitely the focus, but done in clever ways through the level of embroidery and layering of textures, and the balance of structure of the brass bodice versus whimsical elegance of the draped long sari, and accessorized with chunky, bold jewelry, as well as the peaks and spheres that burst from the bodice and circle around her, is what makes this entire look, and is so beautiful. The 2023 theme was Karl Lagerfeld, a line of beauty. Lagerfeld's fashion legacy stands as one of the greatest in history, marked by his tenure as creative director at Chanel and Fendi. His illustrious career also included designing for Chloe and starting out at Pierre Balmain. While the Met Gala wasn't a retrospective, it paid homage to the esteemed designer. We actually had quite a few attendees follow the theme, surprisingly, but there wasn't anything that wowed me, unfortunately. With the focus of remembering an iconic fashion designer this year just seemed very lazy. That's the best way I can describe it. Especially considering the amount of historical Karl Lagerfeld designs and concepts that could have been explored. We did, though, have pretty moments that should be appreciated, such as with Cardi B, and Anok Yai, who looked immaculate, though I failed to understand how exactly it referenced the theme. So the two that truly stood out to me were Anne Hathaway and Dua Lipa. Anne Hathaway very much understood the assignment and goes down as best dressed this year. Dressed in Versace, they perfectly encapsulated both heritages of Chanel and Versace. Adorned in white tweed is very Chanel, whilst at the split, with the paperclip holding the seams together, pays homage to Versace's paperclip dress. The styling of the hair and jewelry and the softness of the makeup is the perfect representation of Karl's work. We do also have to talk about Dua Lipa, who wore off the fall 1992 Haute Couture, which was originally worn by Claudia Schiffer, but also looked incredible on Dua. The fit is to perfection, and this is the perfect time to be wearing such a piece. The styling of the jewelry is stunning, but I am upset with how basic she went with the hair. She could have put in more effort. But nonetheless, she looked beautiful. Anyway, other than that, this year was a disappointment, so on to the next. The 2024 theme was the Garden of Time. This year, the inspiration for the theme derives from the Sleeping Beauty's Reawakening Fashion Spring 2024 exhibition. The exhibition showcased 250 delicate pieces from the Costume Institute's collection of over 33,000 items, which can no longer be displayed on mannequins due to their fragility. This theme had every opportunity to craft works of arts and reference timeless fashion. What I had imagined in my mind and what was to anticipate was magical, theatrical. It was mesmerizing. Though this is what we got instead. Although many looked beautiful, it just wasn't giving what it was supposed to give. Though on the flip side, in terms of nailing the theme, Chloe Sevigny didn't disappoint. I would not say I'm obsessed with this look, and it wouldn't be my favorite, though it must be appreciated for understanding the theme of sleeping beauties, very much aligning with the exhibition inside rather than the garden theme that many referenced instead. It focuses on replicating the fragility and the wear and tear of garments that can happen over time, as seen in the exhibition. Kendall Jenner also opted to focus more on the concept of time and the reawakening of fashion theme rather than garden of theme, wearing Givenchy from spring 1999, Haute Couture, designed by Alexander McQueen. Now, what's special about this gown is that it actually has not been worn by anyone other than Kendall, as the dress and collection were presented on mannequins instead of a runway. I find this dress to be absolutely stunning and demonstration of true couture. I'm in love with the intricacy of detailing and the structured collar and sleeves paired with the fringes. But what needs to be talked about and appreciated is the mid-sheer paneling that is almost invisible, which is so hard to achieve. Mona Patel was probably the most talked about at the gala this year. She was named Mystery Girl of the Night, and people were on the hunt to find out who she is. And it was well-deserved recognition as she stole the night, nailing the theme, and for innovative. I mean, she is wearing Iris Van Herpen. The fit of this dress is perfection as it sculpts her figure before exploding into a theatrical waterfall of what looks like can be a reference to petals on a flower. Though what tops this looks off is the mechanical sleeves of flowers that open and close, referencing the blooming of flowers. What I love the most is that with so much going on, it still maintains a quality of feminine softness. Now, my favorite of the entire night is Aaliyah Bhatt. Talk about feminine softness. This is one of the most immaculate saris I've seen. The intricacy of the detailing, layered floral embroidery and whispers of ruffles and fringes, and the fact that took up majority of the carpet with its divine length is so extravagant in every way. I also love how Aaliyah Bhatt pays appreciation for the amount of time the ensemble took to create and the people behind it, crafting a piece that is timeless.
You're here representing India in a sari, a beautiful sari at that. Who designed this?
So this is designed by Sabyasachi Mukherjee. It is my second time at the Met, but my first time wearing a sari. And when I thought of the dress code, Garden of Time, I felt like it needed something timeless, and there's nothing more timeless than a sari.
And how long did it take to make your sari? The work on it's truly exquisite.
Yeah. So this is all hand embroidery.
Of course it is.
It's taken, let me get this number right because it's extremely important when you talk about craftsmanship. 1,905 man hours and 163 craftsmen, embroidery workers, everybody to make this garment.
I'm unsurprised because the work is really sublime.
What goes into the dress?
You can see so many years of experience and talent. And did you enjoy meeting the people in the atelier who made it?
Actually, I haven't had the chance to meet them, but I've seen so many videos and I'm so excited to bring all of that out to the world for everybody to see because it's taken a lot of love and labor and a lot of effort, and anything that's gotten love and time lasts forever.
I'm obsessed.
Like the garden.
Like the garden of time.
Wearing something timeless, I feel, is an interpretation that very much aligns with the theme, as the process of couture is so achieve high levels of craftsmanship and respect for the craft that is supposed to be around for many, many years before time takes control. This is what we see in the exhibition. Yes, these garments are worn down, but only after many years. It is still around. And I love this concept. And I love this look. Luckily, we ended on somewhat of a positive note. As we've come to the end, we have to pick my favorite looks of all time, from the years discussed. Lizzo from the 2024 Met Gala The Garden of Time. Jokes, the one and only Cher. We cannot even think of the Met Gala without thinking of this Rihanna 2015 moment. Claire Danes and Zac Posen 2016 is a true innovative work of art and contributes to leading the way for fashion's future. Kendall Jenner 2019 and 2021 for the obvious reasons. Debbie Harry 2021, the perfect grasp of the concept and innovative fashion in one. Again, another Zac Posen creation. Gigi Hadid, if I had this coat, I would never take it off. Natasha P 2022 is a major moment. And Aaliyah Bhatt 2024. For all the reasons we discussed before, as disappointed as we have been with the fashion hitting the red carpets for a couple years, I have noticed somewhat of a shift recently towards giving more effort, which I love to see. With that being said, I think it's worth mentioning some celebrities that we should look out for on the red carpets and future Met Galas. Zendaya. Even though I haven't been wowed by her Met Gala looks, her press tour looks have been major, and I'm sure eventually we will see better moments at the gala. Anna Taylor-Joy. Seems to take fashion quite seriously. And I love seeing it. I know she is going to wow us in the coming years. Cardi B, say what you want, but with the way Cardi has been serving, she might be considered a fashion icon down the track. To my surprise, Kendall Jenner was the only celebrity with 3 great looks at the Met Gala. We need to keep an eye out for her as she has been impressing. Natasha Poonawalla seems to understand fashion and I'm here for it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What do you agree or disagree with? Is there anyone else that we should be on a lookout for? Anything that surprised you, and if you're looking forward to next year's Met Gala? Please like and subscribe to support the channel. Thank you.